What you saying, peeps? If you don't know, you should know. It's boy JD, and I am back once again in the Double D compound here to give you my top 10 favourite films of all time. Now, when I made up this list, I decided not to include any superhero films in there, just to give me sort of more a bit of a challenge, which was so hard to do. And even as I'm talking to you now, I'm trying to think like, is this the right list or not? But I'm gonna go with what I've got right now, so I don't want to like make things confusing. Also, I based this list on the films based on like how I felt or how I feel when I'm watching them, not in terms of popularity and things like that. So taking all that into account, let's get this going. So at number 10, Independence Day. Now I think apart from maybe Star Wars, Independence Day is probably one of the best sci-fi movies ever made. I don't want me mentioning Star Trek because I tried to get into Star Trek. It's nah. Right, so Independence Day, definitely one of the best sci-fi films ever out there, especially like in terms of like alien invasions and things like that, because it made it look so real. I think because I've seen a lot of alien invasion films before, and like they all seem to follow the same kind of thing where they land and then like they come out of the ship and then try and like abduct people and that. With this one, the number of a landing just came down and started fucking everything up, and then they try and show themselves and that. So I mean, apart from the aliens, the cast of characters as well is like really good, because you got like Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman as the main three protagonists in the film. Will Smith was definitely like a highlight for me, especially like when he's like you know, he played a character which you would expect to see. Well, I would expect to see like a white person as like, you know, an air pilot and things like that. Not to sound like a racial profiling kind of thing, but there's a guy like called Stephen Hiller who is an Air Force pilot. If you've never seen Independence Day, you probably would think that's a white person, because it does sound like a whitish kind of name. Because I had this conversation with a friend of mine like a few weeks ago, and he hasn't seen Independence Day for like ever, and I thought that was like just the weirdest thing. Like, how have you not seen Independence Day? He goes like, oh, look, I don't like sci-fi films, so I put it on for him. He loved it, but he thought that Will Smith would be better as a white character, not as Will Smith. But apart from all that though, the fact that you see the alien invasion from 3 points of view, from Will Smith's character, from Jeff Goldblum's character, and from Bill Pullman's character who played the president. So you see it from 3 points of view, but also you also see like 3 different stories or 3 different lives intertwining together throughout the film, until they all come together at the end of the film to try and like, you know, destroy the aliens, which they did do. But then the thing that pissed me off the most though is that they made a sequel for it, which it didn't need to happen. There's certain films out there that do not need sequels. Independence Day was one of them, because now it feels like it's kind of tarnished the legacy, if you will, of the film. It should have been just like Independence Day, that's it, done. Or if you're going to make a sequel to it, as a matter of fact, no, don't make a sequel to it, because the film was like good already. So, you know, just leave it alone. I think the sequels may just try and like milk the cow and get some more money out of it, but it just kind of like just made it. The sequel was totally shit. And now that we know for a fact it's going to be a third one as well now, because of the way how the second one ended. Spoiler alert. But you know what? I don't even care anymore. Yeah, so there's going to be an Independence Day 3, but for me, Independence Day 1 is the only Independence Day that should matter. So there should not have been a sequel or a trilogy for this film. So I think for me, Independence Day definitely is my number 10 film on this list. Number 9, Bad Boys. What are you gonna do? I think was this Will Smith's second film, because before that there was his first film was 6 Degrees of Separation, which I've only seen once, and it wasn't really that much of him in it. But this was like his very first starring role in the film, Bad Boys, and along with Martin Lawrence, definitely one of his best films, I think, for me. Bad Boys, very funny. I mean, the fact that the role reversal of like Will Smith having to pretend to be Martin Lawrence's character, and vice versa, was very funny. And you know, as it comes to like, you know, as it's set back in the 90s as well. So as a 90s film, it's still one of the best films out there that will still like stand the test of time. I think it's a film that will never get old. As along with that Bad Boys 2 as well, which was a very, very good film, but it doesn't have to be a sequel for that, I don't think. But the fact that they're making a trilogy though, hopefully the Bad Boys 3 will be as good as Bad Boys 1, because Bad Boys 1 was an awesome, awesome film. And again, like I said about Independence Day, as good as Bad Boys 2 was though, I don't think it needed to be made, or it could have been a lot better, I think. Even though as much as I enjoyed it, I think it could have been a lot better. So Bad Boys 2 definitely one of my favourite films. It's my number 9 on my list. Now number 8, Enter the Dragon. Now as a Bruce Lee fan, as a martial arts film fan, easily one of Bruce Lee's most famous, greatest films, and also his final film before he died. I mean, Jim Kelly as well. Jim Kelly was like one of the best martial artists in the world. Why John Saxon was there, I don't know. But Bruce Lee, basically any film Bruce Lee is a classic, yeah. Any film that he stars in is a classic. But the fact that this film was like his final film before he died, even gives it a bit more. I can't think of a word for it, but gives it a bit more. You know what I mean? A bit more punch to it and things like that. A bit more bite to it. I love the fight scenes in it. The final scene where he's fighting. Wait, I can't remember his name now. Give me a second. Give me a second. I think it was Bolo. No, Bolo was the big guy in it, the big beefy guy. The guy. See, I'm shit remembering names. I can see his face, but I can't remember his name. But the final scene in the Hall of Mirrors, he had that massive claw on him. It's so iconic. I mean, I think the visual of like Bruce Lee with the 3 scars down his chest and things like that was so iconic. All came from that film. Definitely an iconic martial arts villain was the guy with the claws and that. But like I said, the fight scenes in there were awesome. Jim Kelly again was an awesome character in that as well. He played a guy called Williams in there. He was just like, altogether it was like an awesome film. And again, you can't judge it by today's standards because it was filmed back in 1974 or something like that. So it was way back then. But if you're a martial arts film fan, then I think for any martial arts film fan, Enter the Dragon should be on your top 10 list. That's my opinion anyway. Now, number 7, The Departed. Now, this could have been higher up on my list, but there's other films on there that I think are better than that. But I mean, like, let's kick this off. Yeah, it's a Martin Scorsese film. Now, I haven't seen that many Scorsese films before, but easily this is one of my favourites. Okay, Jack Nicholson, legend. Leo DiCaprio, legend. Matt Damon, legend. Mark Wahlberg, legend. Martin Sheen, legend. Now, that's the reason not to like the film, but the fact that it's such a sick film, it's very brutal, very visceral. There's like 3, well, basically it's 2 different characters that with their stories intertwining with each other. It's like a cat and mouse kind of thing where you got Leo DiCaprio who plays an undercover cop.
Are you a cop?
Are you a cop? I can't do that accent myself, but Leo DiCaprio plays an undercover cop in Jack Nicholson's his gang, whereas Jack Nicholson has a guy in Matt Damon's character who's an undercover gang member in the PD, in the police department. So it's sort of like trying to find out who's the rat and who's not the rat. So it's very, very good. A lot of mistaken identities in this one as well. Mark Wahlberg was definitely a shining light in this one, man, because like I was just talking to my boy D-Boy before, like how he didn't really want the role at first, but then like he got given free reign for that role. And plus it was set in Boston as well, Mark Wahlberg's hometown, so that was his time to shine basically. You can see like the whole Boston innings come out as well, especially in that one scene where Mark Wahlberg and Martin Sheen are interviewing Leo DiCaprio and he's saying like, you know, the one scene he goes, "Hey man, you're no fucking cop." And like this, Mark Wahlberg was awesome in this film. Awesome. I think he pretty much like stole the show for me in many ways. But Leo DiCaprio as well, he was like the main guy in this film because he was the one who pretty much was undercover of like the whole film. And the way how he got took out as well was like so shocking as well. I did not see that coming because throughout the whole film, spoiler alert, I said about 10 times now, but spoiler alert, throughout the whole film, you think he's the kind of guy who's going to live throughout the whole film as well, but he gets killed like halfway through the film, he dies, which is like a good like twist, if you want to call it that. But it's a very, very good thing that a film like that needed though, because up until that point, it almost became very predictable that one, you know, that the whole Leo DiCaprio thing became predictable up until the part we got killed. That's where I thought, oh, okay, so shit's going down now. So I wonder what's gonna happen next. Who's gonna survive? Who's gonna die? And things like that. I think Matt Damon did a very good job playing the undercover gang member in the police department, because he played it off really well. Became very believable. Jack Nicholson, I mean, Jack Nicholson can play a bad guy better than pretty much anyone in Hollywood right now. He's very, very good at playing the bad guys, playing the mob boss, whatever. Special shout out as well for Ray Winstone for playing his right-hand man, because he was very good as well, even though he wasn't in the film that much. But like, some of the things that he did though were very, very good, especially the one scene where he and Nicholson took DiCaprio into the back of a pub or a bar. The guy had a cast on his arm and that, yeah, and like they smashed the cast off his arm, and like just, I mean, even like, hear the bone breaking and everything. Like, it wasn't the cast breaking, it was his bone breaking. I could hear smashing his arm on the side of the table. Being like, okay, what's in your arm? What's inside there? Nothing. Okay, okay. Bam, bam, bam. Are you a fucking cop? No, I'm not a cop. Guy took his fucking shoe off. Yeah. Are you sure about that? I'm not a cop. Bang. Are you sure you're not a fucking cop? I'm not a fucking cop. Just that one scene alone, just like, brutal. Zero F's given at all the way through. So The Departed is one of my all-time best. Now, number 6, Tears of the Sun. Now, for some of you guys might not be familiar with that film. It's not like the most popular film out there, but Bruce Willis stars in it along with Monica Bellucci. It's about Bruce Willis plays basically a Navy SEAL. He goes into the African jungle to retrieve Monica Bellucci, Dr. Hendricks, is a character, to bring her back to America. But she doesn't want to leave because he's helping out all the African refugees and that, yeah. So because she refuses to leave, he agrees to take her plus a lot of her patients to Cameroon, where the safe zone is. But because there's too many to go with him, he agrees to take him on foot. But as soon as they get to like a certain point where they're in an open field and try and get like extracted by a helicopter, it blags him and says like, okay, I'm taking you now, and then goes up on the helicopter. On the way to Cameroon, you look down and see like where she was before, and all the refugees have been slaughtered, which makes him change his mind. Goes back and gets the refugees, and then go, okay, we'll go on foot. And while they're walking on foot, going throughout the whole Amazon jungle, the one scene where they come across another like a small African village, and everyone's getting slaughtered, everyone. And this is where like the film gets real, basically, because it's all based off true events. And in the African jungle, there's one particular part where this woman gets brutally savage because the rebels, who are the villains in this movie, they cut the breasts off the women, nursing mothers, so they can't feed their own babies. And you actually see like the savagery of, like, you know, it's just it's horrible, man. But it's heartbreaking as well because it's based off true events, so you know this shit happens in real life. And the fact that you know, you see innocent refugees getting murked off by rebels for some stupid ass fucked up reason, which vexed me so much. And then having it being portrayed on film in the way that it was really good. And it was directed by Antoine Fuqua, who directed Training Day, and he directed The Equalizer as well. And so the fact that it's an Antoine Fuqua film, you know it's going to be a really good film and that. So I just think that Tears of the Sun, it's one of those films that really like gets to you like right there, man. It's like you don't cry from it, but you get choked up from seeing like certain things, certain parts of the film, because there are like some brutal, savage moments in that film which you might have to look away from sometimes. But I think it's a really, really good film. Right, so into my top 5 now. Number 5, A Man Apart. Again, maybe not the most popular film for most people, but for me, this is the very first time I started taking Vin Diesel seriously as an actor. Because if you watch any Vin Diesel film, he's one of those guys who, you know, all out action and things like that, and like flipping Fast and Furious, Triple X, you know what I mean, all those kind of things. Also, in every, apart from A Man Apart, every single Vin Diesel film, he's been known now as the master of the dramatic over-the-shoulder look. Guarantee you, now you watch any film now, right, he does this, I'll hand it for you now, he always does this. In every single film he does that flipping over-the-shoulder thing, to make it look more flipping like a badass, yeah. But in this one, A Man Apart, he plays a cop who had his wife killed while he was sleeping right next to her in his bed. Some guy broke into his house, shot his wife, and basically just like, he goes fucking mental now. And it's a film where, like I said, Vin Diesel is actually like a proper serious actor in this one now. No, there is action in it, but not like a Fast and Furious type action or Triple X action. It's a more gritty, more brutal, more visceral action than what you're used to. You see him cry in this film. You see him like flipping, heartbreaking, emotional moments in this film where you think, oh shit, that's fucked up shit there, man. I feel bad for the guy, and so, it's one of those films that surprised me a lot because, like I said, with Vin Diesel, I didn't really expect to see that performance from a atypical action man, from Vin Diesel. Because you think of Vin Diesel, you think of Fast and Furious action, Triple X action, and so on and so on. This one was more like a more serious, balls to the wall, visceral, hardcore, like that kind of film. You know what I mean? So I think And One Apart is definitely one of my all-time favourite films. Now, number 4 was hard for me because I couldn't decide between two films. These are two Tarantino films, by the way, so I was torn between Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill. But for me, I think Kill Bill just edges it slightly, because I love my revenge movies. Absolutely love them. I mean, Pulp Fiction, I mean, Sam Jackson, John Travolta, Ving Rhames, Bruce Willis, Uma Thurman, Tarantino himself, Harvey Keitel. I mean, that cast alone is enough to make you think, yo, that film it should be on my list. And it is on my list. And if I could probably give it a tie with Kill Bill, I would. But I think Kill Bill edges it just for it's a pure revenge movie. Has a lot of classic Japanese movie references, which I liked. I love Japanese movies as well. And plus the showdown at the House of Blue Leaves, that one scene is just such a brutal scene. I love the brutality of it. I love how there's no cutaways from how heads getting cut off, arms getting cut off, eyes getting plucked out, all that kind of shit, man. I love. And apparently it's gonna be Kill Bill 3, which I think has been approved now. I'm not too sure with Zoe Saldana, but if you remember watching the scene where the bride kills what's her name now? Oh, see, here we go again with the mind blank. The black, I think the Viper, Black Viper. Now, Black Mamba was her name, Uma Thurman's name in it. The bride / Black Mamba, but I think I have to go back and Google it. But oh, for fuck's sake, let me pause it. Right, so yeah, so Vivica A. Fox's character, Benita Green, when she gets killed off in the movie, apparently in Kill Bill 3, which I think has been approved now, Zoe Saldana plays Benita Green's daughter from the first one, because if you watch the film, she says to her daughter, if you ever want come back and get revenge, I'll be waiting for you. And that's what Kill Bill 3 is based on, the revenge from Benita Green's daughter, played by Zoe Saldana, apparently. Don't quote me on it, but it's the revenge now where she's takes the role of the bride basically and goes to try and hunt down Uma Thurman's character. So apparently it's been approved yet. I've only heard rumours and things like that, but that's where it's looking right now. So hopefully that gets made. But yeah, Kill Bill itself was just an awesome film. Yeah, there's not much I can say about Kill Bill that hasn't been said, that cannot be said already. But Kill Bill for me just edges it over Pulp Fiction because it's a revenge film and it's got so much blood and guts and all that kind of stuff, which I kind of like. So Kill Bill definitely my number 4. Now number 3 is a film which I think is criminally underrated for me. If you're a Paul Walker fan, then you know what I'm talking about. Running Scared. Definitely the best Paul Walker film. Keep out Fast and Furious, yeah, exclude Fast and Furious, but the Paul Walker solo film, Running Scared, is an awesome film, and it's basically based around a single gun. Right, so just a quick run through it, right? So it plays a gang member who's in charge of getting rid of evidence and things like that. At the start of the film, the film's based over 17 hours, yeah, or 16 hours. At the start of the film, a drug deal goes wrong, and his boss kills a dirty cop who breaks in it on drug deal, yeah. His boss gives him the gun and says, get rid of the gun, hide it somewhere. So instead of getting rid of the gun, he hides it for insurance in case they get caught and they try and blame him for the crime. He has the gun with the fingerprints on it, but he hides it in his basement. His son's best friend finds it, takes it, goes next door, shoots his abusive stepfather, yeah, and runs away. Now, now that he knows that the gun's gone missing, he has to try and find the kid with the gun just in case the mob finds the gun, because he has to try and like get rid of all the evidence before the mob finds him and then kills him off. And there's one scene in particular where the kid, I think his name is Oleg, he gets taken in by this couple who have a weird like room in their house full of kids' toys and things like that, and they also have like plastic saran wrap over the floor. And you're thinking like, why do they have that on the floor? They have cameras in the room as well, and you know, so just like, you know, just take him in, like take care of him, things like that. And then when Paul Walker's wife, who's looking for the son, she finds out like where the son is, or where the little boy is, goes to the house, breaks into the house and finds out, like, because she knows he's there somewhere but he can't find him. And then she opens the cupboard and the body falls out with a plastic bag around its head, and it's the little boy. And that one scene, fucking like, it's just brutal. But not only that, when she looks into the cupboard as well, she sees like all these little name tags of all these kids' names with like stars along them, and next to them are body bags. So basically, these two people who took the kid in are basically either like paedophiles or child murderers, because they got like knives and things like that in the cupboard, along with body bags and plastic saran wrap to like dispose of the evidence and things like that. So it's just such a mad twist to the film. And in fact, it's all around the gun as well, which gets passed around more times than flipping I can care to count, because the gun goes from like from the kid to a pimp to a prostitute to some random mechanic to some Mexicans playing a card game. It gets passed around so many times, and like plus Paul Walker's trying to go around trying to find the gun himself before the mob finds it, because if they found it, he's pretty much fucked. So you know, so it's just a mad film with like mad twists all over. Shout out to Michael Cutlitz as well, Abraham from Walking Dead, because he's in this as well. So just so you know. And again, the final scene where in the ice hockey rink, where Paul Walker's getting smashed in the face with ice hockey pucks all over, and it's all on black light as well, which is a mad like ending scene for any film. To have the whole scene shot in black light in an ice hockey rink is just a very good creative way to end the film. So I think that for me, Running Scared, again, a criminally underrated film. If you're a Paul Walker fan, then you agree with me on this one. Running Scared is definitely one of the best films for me, Paul Walker films specifically, but for me, Running Scared is one of my all-time favourite films. And number two, might come across as a Christmas movie, but for me, it's an all-year-round movie for me, and that's Die Hard. Can't go wrong with a bit Die Hard, man. Not at Christmas, but any time of year. I don't care about Christmas time for me. I watch it any time. Die Hard for me is like one of the best films ever. Back when, like, you know, the action hero thing was at its hype with Schwarzenegger and Stallone and things like that. But I think back at that time when it came out, I don't think Bruce Willis got like the credit he deserves, along with like, as opposed to like say Schwarzenegger or Stallone or Van Damme even, because everyone was like focused on them, but they got like Bruce Willis coming out with these sick ass films. But I don't think, like, even though people love the films and that, but for me, if I ask people, like some of my friends, like what are the best action films, more than likely they'll say like a Schwarzenegger film or Stallone film, and they'll wait a while before they say a Bruce Willis film. But for me, Die Hard films in general, not just Die Hard 1, but like in general, Die Hard films are fucking awesome. But the first one in itself was like a catalyst for me in terms of action films. And even though people like see it as a Christmas movie and watch it at Christmas time because it's set at Christmas time, for me, it's that kind of a film. I don't care what time of the year it is, I watch it anyway, because I love his character, John McClane. I love his how he talks to himself sometimes, like he's crawling around in the fucking in the air ducts. I feel like a fucking microwave dinner and things like that, and just and at the end as well, just Hans, I'm here. Puts his hand behind his back as well, like and laughing his ass off and that. Just so sarcastic, but at the same time, when it's like his sarcasm as well is like part of his charm, and it's one of the reasons why I love John McClane as a character. Now, as the film has gone on, I think what Die Hard 4 and 5, I mean, nah, Die Hard 5 itself was just poor. I think it didn't need to be made. But Die Hard 4 it's passable, it's good, but I don't think it's like as good as like say Die Hard, well, basically Die Hard 1 is like the best one out of the lot anyway. That's bar none. Die Hard 2, pretty good. Die Hard 3, only because Sam Jackson's in it a little bit. That's the only reason. And plus Jamie Irons as well, he's pretty cool. So Die Hard 4 is just like, you know, it felt like a film that didn't need to be made because you already got like a decent trilogy there, so leave it at that. I think they're just trying to like milk out as much as they get as much money as they can out of the Die Hard franchise, which doesn't need to get done. Because again, it's a classic case of sequels getting made which don't need to be made, and the killing of these franchises, man. They're tarnishing the legacy of these franchises. Just like I said with Independence Day, where they made the second one, which fucked up the first, which fucked up the franchise for me. But you know, Die Hard 4 and 5 just didn't need to be made. So Die Hard 1 is definitely my number 2 film on my list. Bruce Willis, again, a legend in his own right. I mean, any film he's in is a fucking sick film, but Die Hard 4 and 5, just, nah, not for me. And number 1, numero uno, Training Day. Of all the films that I could have chosen to pick number 1. And there were a few films that I had, because I had Django Unchained as my number 1 at first, but then I thought, you know what, I can't believe I forgot about Training Day. That's one of my sickest films I've ever seen. Denzel, you know, got the Academy Award for you know, Alonzo Harris, his character. Oh my god. King Kong and got shot on this guy. Trust me on that one. Again, very brutal, very visceral. I think I said that about 10 times now, but it's a very visceral film. I love the little cameos, if you will, with Snoop Dogg and Dre in there as well. I mean, the fact that Dre is like a cop in this one as well, it's kind of weird, man. Plus, especially from being from the NWA, you know what I mean? But it's like it's part of Denzel Washington's his small little crack group of police officers, or bent coppers, if you will. Ethan Hawke as well played a very good supporting role. I love the fact that how he played a very good rookie, if you will, and he didn't know what he was doing a lot. But basically, Alonzo Harris, Denzel's character, he domed every scene he was in. He domed every single scene he was in. He was so believable, so brutal, funny at times as well. There were times where I kind of felt for him a little bit towards the end, where like you know, he got murked up at the end by the Russians and things like that as he was trying to escape. But that's down to him being greedy and things like that, and being stupid at certain things. But the fact that Denzel Washington won the Oscar for that for his role as Alonzo Harris in a film which didn't look like an Oscar-winning film, but his character, which is sort of like a proper ghetto, proper like streetwise police officer, bent police officer at that, and he was so oh my god, it's too good to explain, man. It's too fucking sick to explain. But if you haven't seen Training Day, something's wrong with you. Okay. Go and watch Training Day and you'll know what I'm on about. Denzel Washington, he's one of my all-time favourite actors anyway, alongside Samuel L. Jackson, but Denzel stole the show in that one. Shout out to Ethan Hawke as well, because he's a sick actor in this one. Antoine Fuqua, who directed Tears of the Sun, which is my number 6 film, he directed this one as well. He also directed him in Equalizer 1 and 2. But Training Day, Default is my number 1 all-time favourite movie, excluding superhero films, okay? Because like I said before, I didn't want to put like, it would have been easy to put like a Infinity War and things like that in this list, but I wanted to try and make it a bit more harder for me to do, because I think for anyone who likes superhero movies and films in general, I think they would have had a superhero film in there somewhere in the favourite films list, but I want to try and make it a bit more of a challenge, so I left out the superhero films. So but Training Day, yeah, it's definitely my number 1 film for me, ever. So just to recap, my top 10 films of all time, excluding superhero movies. Number 10, Independence Day. Number 9, Bad Boys 1. Number 8, Enter the Dragon. Number 7, The Departed. Number 6, Tears of the Sun. Number 5, A Man Apart. Number 4, Kill Bill. Number 3, When You're Scared. Number 2, Die Hard 1. And number 1, Training Day. Make sure you post comments down below and let us know what your favourite films list is. Make sure you go and subscribe to my channel, JD Virtue. Make sure you go and keep on subscribing to that Double D team for all the best reviews and reactions to all the best TV shows that are out there right now. Post comments down below, let us know what you think. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe and share. If you did not, hit the like button, subscribe and share. Peace.